So I'm going to start by putting in some of the darker areas first, the details. I've already given the overall painting, the overall canvas, a coat of raw umber. It's so much nicer to paint on than painting on a white canvas. It's called a coloured ground or an imprimatura. So with this small brush now, I'm just re-establishing those areas that I think are the most important, which are going to be the face, basically the eye, the nose, the mouth and the ears. That's what gives any creature its character, and any portrait. That's the most important part, or those are the most important parts. So I'm using a limited palette here, just limited my palette to titanium white, Payne's grey, yellow ochre, burnt sienna and raw umber. Not really using so much raw umber now, once I've done the background, or the imprimatura. So I'm just limiting it to white and those other three colours. Now, they're basically blue, red, yellow, but these are earth tones. Yellow ochre is my yellow, burnt sienna is my red, and Payne's grey is my blue. Because if you add a little bit of white to that Payne's grey, it will become a bluish grey tone. And if you just limit yourself to those few colours, I mean, you can use whatever colours you want, but limit yourself, then you'll find if you have a restricted palette, it's easier to do the painting. You won't become confused with all the myriads of colours that there are out there. And you will also have to find your own manufacturer that you particularly prefer, because every manufacturer does a slightly different variation of the actual colour. So Payne's grey, for instance, some Payne's grey that you can purchase from different manufacturers don't have that blue tone, so you have to find one that does. And one of the companies I like to use is Jackson's own make. Jackson's a great retailer. I'm not actually sponsored by them at all, but I just like using their colours. Now these colours I'm using, I do use their artist quality, but these particular ones are their studio quality acrylics, because they come in larger bottles. It's very economical and they're still great paints. But if you limit your colours to a certain amount, then you'll find painting so much easier with acrylics. So give it a go. Now I'm going on to my larger brush now. This is my large flat bristle brush, 1 inch thick flat bristle brush. And I use this more or less in every painting. Now I have left links below where you can purchase any of these items that I use. And if you do use those links to purchase those items, then you will be helping to support me and my channel. And that helps me to keep bringing you these videos. So you can see I've just put that background in, a couple of little variations of colours in, and now a little spray of water, and I'm going to get my silicone scraper and start to move the paint around and blur some of those edges of the horse where it's blending into the background. And you see how it moves the paint. I can actually pick up paint off the palette as well and apply it very much like a palette knife and create all sorts of interesting marks with this tool. It makes it look like oil paints. So I'll just pick some paint up and then apply it nice and thick like that. And it gives a lovely abstract and impressionist style look to the painting. It makes it look like an oil painting. Okay, I'm going to do variations now of those tones, so sort of blending areas. I've got the lights and the darks, and I just need to put variations of colours in between those, because I don't like to have large areas of flat colour. They should be interesting. And you only do that by painting in layers. I'll do this layer and then I'll let it dry, or I'll force it dry with a hairdryer. And then I can go over the top with another layer, and some of those underlying layers will then show through to create more interest. And also, because I'm limiting my palette, I can create a colour harmony throughout the entire painting. Because I'm not using anything really outrageous like a verdant green in this or anything that's going to really upset the apple cart. Keeping it simple and with earth colours can produce really nice paintings in a sort of an old master's sort of style, because I'm using earth colours. Because the old masters loved earth colours. Basically, they were cheaper for them to purchase. Very bright colours were very difficult to obtain, if nigh on impossible. But things like vermilion and ultramarine were very, very difficult colours to get hold of. But they did manage to get them, but it was much easier to paint with earth colours and much cheaper. And you probably find that today. Earth colours are a lot cheaper to buy than some of the others. If you get true, perfect vermilion, I think it's called Chinese vermilion, it will cost a fortune for just one little tube. Okay. Just starting to put in, with a small brush, some of these little areas that I know are of great interest. I need to put the detail in. It's not really photographic realistic detail. It's just a certain level of interest, a certain level of detail, I should say, to hold the interest there. A couple of little highlights on the nostril and also in the eye will bring that eye to life. And also on the upper and lower eyelid to create the overall shape of that eye. A few more highlights on the nostrils there. Now remember, this is an impressionist painting, so I'm not looking for photographic realism of any kind. It's to create the impressionism, or the impression of this Shetland pony that has long straggly hair blowing in the wind. Now I don't need to paint every single hair. To do that, I can use broad areas. Just paint broad areas. Now this is a wonderful brush for doing this kind of work, and all sorts of work, is a dagger brush. Because it's angled and it comes to a point. So I can put in some of these darker areas. These are the shadow areas of the hair, the underlying areas, that I can then paint over the top of with lighter areas, or lighter hair. But now I'm just putting in the shadows. And it's planning the entire painting out like this to do these layers. So you can see how I'm building up that layer now by putting in those shadows, re-establishing them, because I did put them in originally, but now I'm just reaffirming them and making sure I've got them correct, where I want them to be, and as dark as I want them to be. But they're not flat tones of colour. You can still see variations through them because I'm painting in layers. And because whenever you paint with a dark colour like this, you should paint quite thin. Because then when you apply a layer over the top of that dried layer, it will be transparent enough to show some of those interesting earlier marks in those previous layers. And that creates interest in those darker areas instead of being a flat colour. It just creates more interest. And the old masters knew this well. Dark areas should be thin and the light areas should be thickest. So I'll put in some mid-tone in now, some of these hairs or the mid-colours. Again, I'm because I'm using a restricted palette, a limited palette, it's easier to work with. It's easier to judge those colours and tones. So I've got to get this area on its rump there with the tail as it sprouts from the back of the horse, just there. So I'll have a few little darks again, which I will go over with lighter colours later when it's dried. And if your layer isn't dry, then you've got two choices. You can either paint over the wet paint and blend with it, or you can force it to dry with a hairdryer and paint over the dried layer. Or you can just wait for it to dry if you have the time. So I'm going to put some very, very bright lights in now, still with this dagger brush. Little highlights where I want the light to be picked out on the horse there, on the tail there, where the light is just catching certain areas. Okay, a little bit of a warmer tone here. You can see how great this brush is for doing this kind of work, these long hairs, straggly hairs. Without me actually painting it detailed, it's just making it look like it's got long, straggly hair. Okay, I can go a little bit more darker with some of those. Here and there. Because I'm not doing photorealism, so I'm trying to make it look like it's got a lot of hair without me actually painting a lot of hair, if you know what I mean. I'm not using a thin liner brush to do every single hair. It's the impression, giving the impression of all this hair. Okay, if the paint isn't coming off the brush too easily, once the canvas is dry, that layer is dry, then you may want to spray the canvas with a little very fine mist spray of water. And not so that it's wet, but just so that it's damp. And you'll find that painting these lines is so much easier, these relatively fine lines, because the paint will just fall off the brush so much easier. It's harder to paint onto a dry canvas. Of course, there is a negative side to that, because if you add water, the paint will dry quicker. So you do have to work relatively quick, and that's something you need to learn to do with acrylics. And also, because if you don't add water, and you can see I mostly use the paint straight from the tube, which is put into these little pans that I have in this little box, because there's no water in there, it will stay wet for much longer. Because the thicker the paint, the longer it takes to dry. And as soon as you start adding water to it and thin it down, it will dry much, much quicker. Now this is where a lot of people get stuck with painting with acrylics. They're adding water to it all the time, and it just dries too fast for them to carry on, so they struggle. So this is the way with acrylics. Use it direct from the tube and paint in an impressionist style. You can paint hyperrealism with acrylics and photographic realism, just with smaller brushes and finer lines. And you can use all sorts of retarders and glazing mediums to do all that. I've done it myself. I've done photorealistic paintings with acrylics. It's time consuming, but you can do it. So now I'm putting those lighter areas of that hair on its fringe there over the top of those shadows I've already put in. So as I said earlier, it's like planning at what stage you should do certain things. So you put in the darks first, and then you can put the lights in over the top. I'm just going to put a few little variations in the ears there, because I don't like them being too flat, too one colour. There should be other colours in there, and variations of those colours. Get that a little bit darker there. And some more of those shadows into the hair. And on the little messy bit there under its chin. And then highlights again, all with the same brush. I'm still using this dagger brush. I can get really nice and flowing with those brush strokes. And you can see how it's building up all the time, those little layers of those bits of fringe and fur and hair. They're all adding up layer upon layer and create that intricacy and interesting level of detail. Bit by bit, slowly does it. That's how to paint with acrylics, is to do it layer by layer. Okay, just refining a few little areas now, because it's nearly finished. So just refine that area, make the face outline look a little bit better, and some areas of light in between the fur on its back, and also this area here. I just want to define the outline of that face a little bit better. This is the beauty of acrylics. You can do this all at any stage because they dry so quickly. You can easily paint over the top. So I'm just going to do a few more little highlights now. Keep adding to those highlights, keeping them bright, and I'll do a little bit to the highlights on the ears and the top of the head, and a few little lights on the eye. And then once that's all done, I'll consider that painting finished. If you have enjoyed this video and hopefully found it interesting and entertaining, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Be sure to click on the little bell icon if you wish to be notified of my latest videos. I am always interested in your questions and comments, and I do try to answer every one of them. Hopefully I will see you on my next painting video, so until then, have a lovely day and happy painting!